Hello everyone, welcome back to the Netbeans e-commerce tutorial. Today I will present Unit 10, Adding Language Support. The purpose for this series of presentation is to help my students to understand how to use Netbeans IDE to build an e-commerce application. All materials in the presentation come from netbeans.org website. This section will start with Snapshot 8. However, we will use Snapshot 9 to finish the last task. The students can download both snapshots from the above website. The goal for this unit is to demonstrate how to enable language support for the web application. Language support here refers to the ability to display page views according to the customer-specified languages. According to the Affordable Beans application customer requirement, the customer wants support both English and Czech for the website page view. To accomplish this goal, we need to rely on Java's internationalization functionality. First, we create a resource bundle for each language and let the Java runtime environment to determine the appropriate language for incoming client request. Then we will implement a language tag to enable users to switch the language manually. The Netbeans IDE makes language support easier because the Netbeans IDE provides special support for localizing application content. First, it has a customized dialog. It enables you to add new locals to an existing resource bundle base name. Second, it has a properties editor that lets you view and edit key value pairs for all locals in a table layout. Both of the customized dialog and the property editor are utilized in this unit of tutorial. So there are four tasks we need to finish in this unit of tutorial. First, we need to understand resource bundles. Then we need to understand how to make pages multilingual. Then we need to create basic multilingual support for the page views. Then we will implement a language tag. So first task, understanding resource bundle. Resource bundles contain local specific objects. When your program needs a local specific resource, a string for example, your program can load it from the resource bundle that is appropriate for the current user's local. In this way, you can write a program code that is largely independent of the user's local by isolating most, if not all, of the local specific information in resource bundles. This allows you to write a program that can first be easily localized or translated into different languages. Second, handle multiple locals at once. Third, be easily modified later to support even more locals. We utilize the property resource bundle, which manages resources as text files that use the .properties extension and contain local specific information in the form of key value pairs. For example, in this text file messages in .properties, we specify the key value pairs meets as the key, the value is meets. Bakery as the key and the value is bakery. That's understandable since it's English. So you see the meets, what that means? It meets. It's a bakery, then it is bakery. Now in this message CS.properties file, text file, then we will have key value pair like meats is muscle. I don't know if I pronounce this right, but basically English meats in Czech language is muscle. Then bakery, English bakery in Czech language is pekivo. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, probably not, but we just say this bakery English, then pekivo in Czech. The two-letter code are derived from the international ISO 639 standard, which lists code that represents the name of languages. So the EN is English, CS is Czech. So our task 2 is to understand how to make pages multilingual. Let's recall the 4-bobine application requirements. The website initially displays based on the preferred language of the user's browser. If the browser's preferred language is neither English nor Czech, the site displays text in English. The user has the option of changing language by means of a language toggle in the page head. When users use the language toggle to change the language, the user remains in the same page view. The language toggle should not appear for the confirmation page, as a user will already have selected his or her language prior to checkout. So, we have two tasks to accomplish. First, creating basic bilingual support for page views. Second, implementing the language toggle that enables users to manually switch languages. So our task 3, creating basic multilingual support for page views. For our case, we only created basic bilingual support for this page view because we only need to support English and Czech. There are 3 basic steps that you need to follow to incorporate multilingual support into your web pages. First, you should create a resource bundle for each language you plan to support. Second, you need to register the resource bundle with the application by setting a context parameter in the web.xml deployment descriptor. Finally, in the page views, you need to replace hard-coded text with FMT column message tags that reference case in the resource bundles. Let's start our first subtask, create resource bundles. Open a 4-bobine project snapshot 8 in Netbeans IDE. Before start, you make sure run the project, everything is okay. So you can follow business process, pretend shopping, several items, then proceed to check out. Then you fill in up all these names, email, phone number, address, and a credit card number. I made up this credit card number. If it happen to be yours, please forgive me. Then submit this purchase. Now you see everything is okay. Then let's go back to this IDE. We begin to create resource bundles. Now first, Command N, we open the new file wizard. I want to choose the property file. Let's see, where is the art? I believe I need to choose other. Then category is other. Then property files. Okay. Then I click on next. Now this property file name, I will name it as messages. Then I want this folder will be src Java resource. I want the folder is src Java resource and the file name is messages. Then I click on finish. Now the messages.properties resource bundle is generated and opens in the editor. Note that the new message.properties file name doesn't have a language code appended to it, as was previously described. This is because this file will be used as the default resource bundle. The default resource bundle is applied when the Java running time environment doesn't find a direct match to the request local. Let's open the index.jsp. If you look at this, all those sentence and include 4 categories. we need created the key value pairs for them. Recall that one of the implementation detail outline stated that if browser's preferred language is neither English or Czech, the site displays text in English. Therefore, the value that we apply the message.properties file will be in English. So let us edit this file. Click on this, then we will type first, say welcome. Welcome page. You use this number sign for the comments. Then we define the key greeting equal the key message are, well, I go back to copy and paste. Key message will be the greeting message will be here. So copy and paste here. Okay, then the greeting message. Then I will have intro text, which is the key. Then his value will be, I go back to here, I copy this part. Okay, then copy, I come here and paste. Now, you notice there's something wrong, so the best way I will make sure nothing wrong, so I go up, okay, and this, let's go up. So we finished creating the key value pairs for the messages in welcome page. Now let's deal with the category names. So categories, these are commands. So the category, the key value must be the name in the database. So in the database, we have 4 categories. The name are dairy. Of course, the dairy's English is still dairy, since the default language is English, right? Then meats, of course, his key is meats. English value still meats, and bakery, and his key is bakery. The value still bakery. Now pay attention. The last one, his key will be fruit and veg. We have to escape the space character, so we will use backslash in order to apply to escape the space character. So apply the name as the resource bound key. So this is fruit and veg will equal fruit and veg. Okay, so we are now finished with the default resource bundle for the application's welcome page. Let's continue by creating resource bundles for the custom specified languages. So let us look at this one and right click on it, choose customize. I right click on this message.properties, choose customize. Now in the customize this name, make sure you type this name as message, put an English. Okay. No, I probably should do this. I should name still messages. Then I need to add local. I don't change his name. Sorry. Now first local, I want to add English. So notice I cannot add. So I probably need to choose. Okay. I try to type. I can't. So I just choose language. Now make sure I choose English. English. I choose here. Okay. Then no country code. Nothing. Then I just click on OK. Now I need to add another one. Add a local. This time I click at check. So I read C. Check is CS. Where is CS? Oh, CS is here. Okay. Then I click OK. Now after done, then I click close. Now you notice you already have message CS.properties and messages English.properties. If you expand this one, you see you have those keys: bakery, dairy, fruit and veg, greeting, intro text meets. Those are the case. Okay. Now you right-click any of those three data property file, then you choose Open. Okay, then you will open it like this. Now, but you notice your key is greeting, default language, welcome to the online home, whatever. English also welcome to the online home. Now, those two are correct, but this check language column is not correct because you know the greeting welcome to the online home of whatever is in check will not be like this. So how do I edit this? You just click on here, then the value, okay, you click on this one, you can edit the value. So those value, you have two ways to do this. One way, if you really know how to write a check, you write it by yourself. Another way is you go to Google, type the English, use Google Translate, type the check. But the easiest way is go to his tutorial website. He has all those translation for you. So we just copy and paste from there. So for example, the greeting is this. So let me copy this. Okay, copy. Then go back to here. I change his value. Okay, then now you see it's changed. Now for this one, enjoy browser whatever. I also go to his tutorial website. Then copy his. Notice that if you use Google Translate, I actually did that. You will get different from this tutorial. I'm not sure which one is more accurate. So you paste it. Okay. Then for this dairy, then I will go to here, copy, and paste this dairy. Now you paste it, you see all this value change. Then meats, I also go back to here, copy. Then I go back to this place, paste. Then for next one, bakery, I go here, copy. And then I go here, paste. Then for this fruit and veggie, I go here, copy. Then I go here, paste. So I make everything change. Okay. Now, of course, you can always add comments here. For example, you can add comments. This is the value for the key fruit and veg value in check. You can add all this. Okay. So now, if you double click on this one, now you will see the greeting is the key and the value is this, because this resource bundle message CS.Properties defines whenever you see key greeting, it will return you the value is the greeting message in check. Okay, so now we have finished the following thing. We defined the default resource bundle, which is this one. Of course, it's in English. And we also defined the check language resource bundle, which corresponding to every key. You have his corresponding check message here. Then we define the English one. Okay. Now, you might assume that if the default bundle is English, then there is no need to create a resource bundle explicit for English. However, consider the following scenario. A client browser's list of preferred language include both Czech and English, with English taken preceding over Czech. If the application doesn't provide a resource bundle for English but does for Czech, pages sent to that browser will be in Czech. Since a Czech bundle was defined, this is clearly not the desired behavior for that browser, because for that browser, English has higher priority than Czech. However, if you did not define the resource bundle for English, but define the resource boundary for Czech, then he will choose Czech over English. That's not right. Our next step is to register the resource boundary with the application. So let us expand the configuration files, click on web.xml, then click on the general, then we click on context parameter, then let us add context parameter. Context parameter name, we will call it JavaX dot servlet dot JSP dot JSTL dot FMT dot localization context, and his value will be resources dot messages. Okay, now before we close the, make sure we double check we type everything right. JavaX dot servlet dot JSP dot JSTL dot FMT dot localization context, and resources dot messages. Yeah, make sure your resources match this package. Okay, and the messages is those file names. Okay, then I click on OK. Now, if I click on this source tag, then you will see you add a new context parameter, which is here. His name is javax.servlet.jsp.jstl.fmt.localization context, and the value resource.messages. Okay. Our next task is replace hard-coded text with FMT kernel message tag. Let us open index.jsp. Now we need to replace all those messages with his resource bundle values. Okay. So we need to delete here. What I really want, I will use FMT message tag k equal greeting. Okay, close it. K equal greeting, and this message I will delete. Then I will use FMT kernel message k equal, for this one k equal intro text. Now it come up, well, I can right click it, then format it, then it will come back. Okay, we want a good indentation. Okay, now then this categories we also need to do this. So you have a category name. I actually will use the category name as a key. So I will have here to change it to FMT message, then key equal. Now I want to cut this part, put it inside the single quote. So I cut it, put it in the single quote. Okay. That of course I need to close it. Okay. Otherwise we'll have error, right? Okay. So this is category label text. Okay. Okay. Now then this auto native, if the image cannot show up, you also need to show his category name. So this one also need to be replaced like that. So what I'm going to do, I will put insert double quotation marks, still in the double quotation marks, but I will put the tag FMT kernel message. I could copy the previous one, but I want to type one more time. Double quotes. Then I will cut this guy. I want to cut this guy and place it inside. Then I want to close it and all this in the double quotation marks. Okay. So finally, I need to add some things on the top. So let us add this into the following at the top of the file. This is, I need to indicate where I can find those tags. Tag lab, well, this will be prefix will equal FMT, and this URI will equal HTTP java.sun.com/gsp/gstl/fmt. Okay, we did add this. Now let us double check one more time. Then add tag lab prefix equal fmt in the double quote marks. The URL equal http://java.sun.com/gsp/gstl/fmt. Okay, so everything is fine. Now, last task, of course, you need to test it. Since we completed the task necessary for providing bilingual support for the application's welcome page, so we have to how to test it if it's support it's really support English and Czech. Okay, so we really don't want to step through all the use cases he listed on in the tutorial. How many cases you need to test, right? So we just want to test scenario 3 listed on in the tutorial, which is the browser prefers any Czech language. Then the outcome will be the Czech language will be displayed. So let us first change our browser that only support Czech language. So we go to the menu preference, then I click on context, then say if I prefer language displayed pages, I click on choose. So I probably want to remove the English, so I only support Czech. Then I click on OK. Okay. Now I close it. Now let me run the project, see what happened. Run the project. It takes some time. Oh, do I have breakpoints? Hopefully not. No, I don't have breakpoints. So it's just take time for him to deploy. Hopefully I don't have any errors. Why it takes so long? Okay. Program running. Okay, good. Okay, now you see everything is in Czech. Okay, here is in Czech. So we did everything correct. Our last task is to implement a language talk. We divided this task in 3 parts. First, we create talk, display, and synchronize with the browser's preferred language. Then we implement the functionality to handle a request from the language talk. Finally, we enable the application to keep track of the orange Latin page view. For example, if the user switch the language choice in the category page, then he's supposed to still stay in category page after the language display changes. So we will begin this last task with the snapshot 9 of the tutorial, which is the last subtask which enabled the application to keep track of the originating page view. Then why we want to do that? Simply because we don't want to waste time on those two properties file. One is messages CS.properties, another is messages en.properties. Let's create a talk to display and synchronize with the browser's preferred language. Press Ctrl-Shift-O, go to the file. I want to go to header.jspf, click on OK. Then header.jspf open for editor. Then I need to go to this language talk. I want to implement this language selection widget. I press Command slash, like this become commands. Now for here, I want display, suppose default English, then I will have div class equal, then Bob, then I will have a link equal, then I will have choose language, question mark, language equals CS, then this A. Now I want to put a check there. So I go to the place tutorial, I copy this check, then I go to here, paste. Okay, now let's test the run. You say you display this check has a link. Of course, we did not implement this link yet, and currently your page not displayed by English. Okay, but this is just show you how to display these two choice. Okay, now let's implement this choice. So this choice we actually will implement in this way. If your web page is displayed in English, then the English has no link and this check has a link. However, if the web page is displayed by check, then the English will has a link and the check has no link. So I need to use choose. I type GSTL, then control space. They give me GSTL choose. I will type choose. Now he say how many win condition. I only have one win condition. So I click on OK. Now the test is this. If page context dot request dot local and dot language not equal CS. If this language is not equal CS, then what? That means it's English. So I will display English as it is. Okay. Otherwise, this English will be a link. Otherwise, type C URL. Okay. Then this variable equal URL and his value equal choose language. Then I will have C parameter name equal language and the value equal English. Okay, this is a parameter. Then I will have this like something like this. div, well, I can copy, but I don't have to. I just type again. div class equal Bob and give a link. Well, give a link A is equal. The link will be dollar sign. We use EL express. Then this will have English. So basically, the idea is this: if this page is displayed not in chess, okay, if it is displayed not in chess, which means in English, then English has no link. Otherwise, this link, English has a link and displayed as English with a link. Okay, so you can actually do this. You know, the next one for the chess will exactly the same thing. Of course, after you display English, you display this vertical bar. Then the chess, you will have the same thing. So I just similar thing. So I just copy. Since this is my own code, right? I can copy. Okay, and then let me delete this. No, I don't delete this one yet. So this time for the chess, if it equal chess, then you will just display check. And if it's equal check, so I just display check without a link. Otherwise, you will display check with a link. So now I can delete this part. Delete this part. Let us double check the logic. Okay, the first choose to display English properly. This if the language is not chess, which is English, so you just display English as it is. Otherwise, you display English as a link. Okay. Okay. Pay attention to this value. Choose language. Okay. This value is the same thing as whatever you put in the controller servlet. You have a user path called choose language. That must be exactly the same. Okay. Then let's go back to that header file. So it's a choose language. Another logic here is if the page context .request.local.language equal CS, which is check, then you display check as it is. Otherwise, you display check as a link. Let's add a basic language test to the header.jspf file. This will enable us to check whether the toggle is properly rendering according to the client request's preferred language. So we will add a code here. Let's see, this is our language test. Type command slash to make it a commands. Then I type some style here. P style equal text onion, and will be the left comma, a semicolon. Then so I will put strong tests strong. Okay, then give a break. Then make some code here. This code I will do this. I first will display this string as it is. So I put a escape characters backward slash. So this will give me page context. I think the best way to do this, I don't type this backslash here first. So I have all this hint, page context dot request dot request local, right? Then dot language, okay? Now after I got all this typed, then I go back add this backward slash. This make this dollar sign no more as an EL expression, so this will display the whole thing as it is, okay? Now I display this as it is, but I also want to display his value, so I copy this one. Copy, then put his value here. Okay, that's it for me to display. Okay, now let's run the project. Now you see the tests and the page context data request data local data language is checked. Since it is checked, so the English has a link, Czech has no link. Notice this backward slash. That's how it works. So make this no more as an EL expression. Our next step is to implement functionality to handle a request from the language tag. Our goal is the following. First, register the language choice, then display both the page view under the language tag based on the chosen language. How to achieve the goal? We first extract the language parameter from the query string and create a session-scoped language attribute that remembers the language selected by user. Remember, when the user chooses English, then in the URL, you will have this at the end, choosing language, language equal EN. If the user choose is CS, then suppose this choosing language, language equals CS is at the end of the URL. So then we apply the FMT canon set local tag to set the page language based on the user's choice. Finally, we modify the language tag so that if the language attribute has been set, the tag's appearance is determined according to the language attribute's value. So we first Ctrl-Shift-O to go to the controller servlet.java page. Then we find this choosing language, which is our choosing language, I think is to get. Yeah, it's here. Okay, now we delete this. We begin to implement. First step, get language choice. Like I say, the string language equal request dot get a parameter. Then you will choose the parameter will be language. Get this parameter. Then press this language parameter in the request scope. So we do request dot set attribute language. Then finally we forward the request to the welcome page. Now this will be modified in the future. So far we just use this to test out. this will print stack trace, and this trial will be request dot get request dispatch. Then the user path will be /index dot .jsp dot forward request and the response. Okay. Now this exception I mistype, I put an N here. Now everything is fine. Now naturally forward the user to the welcome page regardless of what page he or she is on is not an ideal way to handle the language talk behavior. We will return to this matter in the next subsection. Enable the application to keep track of the originating page view. For the meantime, however, this will allow us to examine the result of the current language talk implementation when run the project. That's why I say we will come back to this point. But currently, just like when people make a choice, you just forward it to the index page. Okay. Now let's switch to the header.jsp. We need to add the following to the top, which is here. We want to have prefix C. This core we already have. Then we want to have a prefix fn. We also already have. We have all those. Then we need to add one more, which is %. This time tag I want to use tag lab, and I want the prefix equal this time I want the prefix equal fmt, and the URL I can actually copy this because this URI are the same except the last slash. This time the last slash will be fmt. Well, pay attention, here is no comma. Okay, now I need to close it. Now the arrow gone. Okay, so we need to set language based on user's choice. Now command slash, that's this is a command away. So I use C if test equal this test is not empty language. If this is true, then set local value equal this is language, and the scope equal session. Now, since the language variable is only created when the user clicks on the link in the language talk, you perform a test using if tags to determine whether the variable exists before attempting to set the language. When applying the fmt kernel set local tag, you set its scope to session as you want the user selected language to take precedence for the remainder of his or her session on the website. Also, since this is the first time the FMT library is used in the header, you declare the tag library at here. Okay, you declare this. Now we can modify the language tag part. This time we need to do the following thing. First, we check if this language attributes already exist in the session. If not, then we will do this thing. Otherwise, the tag will set based on the language value that is stored in the session. So I will do GSTL control space. I want to use C choose. So I still have one choice. Then the test is this. Then I will say if it's empty, session scope then this scope is java.xsp.gsp.fmt.local.session. Okay, if this is empty, then you will do exactly what we did before. So just cut and paste it here. Okay. Now, of course, I can click and format. So the code is formatted. So basically, you see here. So I do the choice. If this session doesn't have a language yet, okay, then I will set up my language tag just like we did before. Otherwise, that means in the session there is a language attributes value there. Then what you will do? You will set it based on this value, session scope, this value. So then what I will do is, otherwise I will have another C choose. So I will type GSTL control space. I will use choose. Also I have one. Then this choose condition is if this session scope, okay, this is session scope, which is javax dot servlet dot gsp dot gstl dot fmt dot set local dot session. Now this one, if not equal CS, okay, if not equal CS, then you will display the English. Okay. Otherwise, you will display English as a link. So what I'm going to do is I will display English as a link. So I just copy here, right? Display English as a link. Okay. Okay. The value is choose language name is display English link. Of course, at the end, for this choice, I will have a slash. Again, we can just copy and paste this one for another choice. But this time, if it's equal, check, and then I will display it as check. So I need to copy this check here, and here will display as check, and here I will copy the check here. So command paste, copy the check here. Okay. Before I examine this, let us add something more on the head, top of the head. So which is, let's see, I want to add more things here. Okay. So what I want to add is, I want to have another break. Then I want to have another code. And in this code again, I will have dollar sign. For this time, I will have session scope. Then this session scope will be something like this. Then my session scope is Java X dot servlet dot GSP dot GSTL dot FMT dot local dot session. Okay. So again, I want this one just display as it is. Then of course I also want to display its value. Now, so I want to copy this guy here, then put a column here, then paste here. Okay. Now, let us run the project. Cross the finger. Hopefully everything is okay. Yes. Now pay attention. This is displayed in check, so the English has a link, and the page context request a local language is chess. But since this chess is not the check is not set in the servlet local session, so that's why this value is not displayed. Now, if you click on English, then this is supposed to display English here. Let us click yes. However, we notice there are a couple errors here. First, this English link should not be here. This time, since your web page is displayed by English, so the link should be under check, and here is the actual vertical bar here. So let us go back to the source code. It's easy to fix this actual vertical bar. You just delete here. Then, since this now your session has a language attribute, but why this is still not displayed right? Let us check here. Session scope javax.servlet.gsp.gstl.fmt. Oh, here is not set local, it's just local. I'm not sure at that moment why I type set local. And here is the same thing, is not a set local, just local. Okay, so now let us run again. Then original is check. Okay, so the preferred language is check on your web browser. Then I click on English. Okay, now your web browser preferred language still check, but now the session has language attributes is English. The value is English. Now I click on check again. Oh, I click on check again. Then suppose English has a link. Still have error. Let's go back. If you look at this carefully, I think we miss this single quarter marks. Okay. Now I believe we should fix the problem. Let's run the project again. Okay. Now if I click on English, then display in English, then click on check. Now display on check, and the English has a link. You click, you see the change. Okay, now everything is fine. Our last task is enable the application to keep track of the originating page view. One of the implementation details which you have agreed on with the Bean staff is that when the language tag is used to change the language, the user remains in the same page view. In our current implementation, the welcome page is returned whenever the language tag is clicked. A more user-friendly approach would be to provide the application with a means of tracking the requested page view and forwarding the request to the page view when the language tag link is clicked. We can accomplish this by setting a session scoped view attribute within each of the page views, then reference this attribute in the controller servlet in order to determine where to forward the request. We will use snapshot 9 of the Bean project to do the last task. This snapshot includes complete English and Czech resource bundles for all page views. All page views have been modified to use text from the resource bundle, and the language tag is presented in a state corresponding to this point in the tutorial. Let us save and close the Bean project snapshot 8. Then let's open the snapshot 9. Okay, now if I run the project for snapshot 9, then if I click on any page, you say all the pages has been implemented Czech language bundle, the resource bundle. Okay, so if I click on English, however, it'll go back to welcome page. We want, if you click on English, will stay in the category page, right? Now, for example, here is stay in the category page. If I click on Czech, it's go back to welcome page. But our goal is to make them stay in the same page. Okay, let's see how to do this. First, we will use C kernel set tags to set a session scoped view attribute for each of the page views. So we will open each of the page view, add the following code. Let's say I started from this index page view. If from index, I will stay in index. Okay. So in this page view, let us add a C tag. So I want to set session scoped variable to track the view user is coming from. Okay, this is so let me comment this away. Okay, so how I do that? I use C set variable. This equal view and value is slash index dot don't need dot JSP, then scope, then session. Now notice in your tutorial this is single quarter marks, but ours is double quarter marks. I think since this double quarter marks automatically given by your IDE, I believe it should be okay. Now let's us go to the card page. I need to do the same thing. Actually, the best way probably I just copy and paste. Then I just change, this slash index to, for example, I copy paste. For the card, I just change it slash index to the slash card. Okay. And for the category, I again copy and paste. I just change the slash index to slash category. Okay, then for the checkout, I just do it like this. slash def and checkout. Now, we do not do the confirmation page based on the customer agreed implementation details. We do not need to provide a mean of switch language on the confirmation page view. For a usability perspective, a user will have already selected his or her preferred language prior to checkout. From an implementation perspective, recall that we destroy the user session upon a successful complete order. Refer back to the final paragraph in the manage session tutorial. You can go back and read that again. If the football bean staff were to insist on allow customer to view the orders bilingually, you would need to consider the following scenario, depending on whether you destroy the user session upon displaying the confirmation page. First, session destroyed. Would be necessary to take actual measure to ensure that a chosen language request from the confirmation page refer to the appropriate order and can display customer-sensitive details in a secure fashion. Second, session maintained would risk enable user to mistakenly place double order on the shopping cart. Also, by not terminating user session when they are no longer needed, unnecessary load may be placed on the server. So we really don't want to deal with any of this. So we just, according to the agreement, we will not allow user to view bilingual on the confirmation page because before they check out, they should already pick up the language they prefer to. Okay. Now let's open controller servlet class. Then I need to modify the following code. First, we notice that all current for the choose language. Let's see where is our choose language. Here, we all forward to index.jsp page. So we need to change this. Okay, we need to change this. So we will change this index.jsp based on the views value. Okay, so let's see, I put here, I will add the following code. String user view equal string session dot get attribute view. I get the attribute view. Of course, when you get an attribute, it will return your object. I cast down this object as a string. This is string, I name it called user view. Okay. If user view not equal now, that means I do have this string, and not user view dot equals slash index. Okay. So if this none of this is true, then I call user pass equal user view. So if it's other than index, then I will let user pass equal user view. Otherwise, else, that means you will forward to the index page. Then I just do this. Put everything here inside the index page. I mean, try to forward it to index page. Then I will return. Okay, see this logic here. I first get the attribute view from the session. Assign it casted this object cast down to string assign to user view. Then if this user view not equal now and this user view not equal index, then I just simply set user pass equal user view. Then you will continue to here to forward, right? Use internal forward, okay? Uh, Otherwise, else, that means the user view is equal index. Then I just forward it to the index page. Okay, now let's run the project. Okay, now since we're on index page, then stay in index page. Okay, now we're on category page, stay on category page, right? Okay, let us view cart. Now I'm on cart page, you see it stay on cart page. Okay, proceed to checkout. Now this is on checkout page, stay on checkout page. Okay, so everything works fine. Let's complete the order so this application will forward us to the confirmation page. Let's see, Macbone, his email, his telephone, his address. Then I type the credit card number. Then I click on submit. Will take us to the confirmation page. Now, suppose in the confirmation page I want to change the language. It brings us back to the welcome page. Implementation-wise, you might consider this to be sufficient. However, the affordable bean staff has explicitly asked you to remove the language talk from this page view, which is a confirmation page view. One way to accomplish this is to perform a test to determine whether the request servlet path contains confirmation. If it contains confirmation, then you do not display the language tag. Okay, let us switch back to the header.jspf, and in this header widget part, I need to add a test. Okay, so I say if servlet path contains confirmation, do not display the language toggle. Command slash this commands. Okay, how do I do that? Of course, I will use cif. If test equal this test will be not fn kernel contains, this contains page context dot request dot servlet path this servlet path contains this slash confirmation. Now, if this is true, I need to close it. But wait a moment. This contains supposed to be like this. Open parenthesis. Then I close it. Okay. Then I close this. So I have another save. Now, if not contain confirmation, then I will do whatever we did here before. So I basically need to place this, and if the condition is true, so I need to cut this whole thing and place them inside this if. Of course, then your indentation is not good. Again, we right click, format it. So now everything is perfect. Okay. Now you look at this. This contains, which means if this page context requires the servlet path, this servlet path contains this substring, okay, confirmation. Then, if not, then you will display the language toggle. Otherwise, you will not display it. Now, let us run the project. We go through. Now, if you click on English, okay, then proceed to checkout. Then type the name, type the email, type the phone number, type the address, then type the credit card number. Okay, now you see. However, there's still a problem. Now the language toggle has gone, but you remember our language was English, but now it changed back to Czech. Why? Why is this happening? This is because up until the successful complete order, the controller servlet has destroyed the user session, and consequently, the session scope local that was set to use FMT canon set local tag is also lost, because in that local, remember what your language is. Your language changed to English. Now he get lost, then he only can display the browser's preferred language, which is Czech. So in order to fix this problem, because user in the middle choose the English, right? So you want to keep the English in the confirmation page. In order to fix this, we have to extract out this language value before you destroy the session and forward the language value with the request. So what I will do, I will go to control servlet.java, then I will find the invalidate method. Let us see, where is this invalidate method? It is about around here. Okay, here is session invalidate. Okay, in this invalidate method. Now I add a code to extract the session scope local value before we destroy the user session and reset the request scope. So I need to do this. So if order not equal 0, okay, let's start from here. In case the language was set using toggle get a language choice before destroy the session. Okay. Now, if language toggle was used. Okay. So how do I do this? I declare local equal local. This is session dot get attribute. So this attribute I will use javax dot servlet dot jsp dot jstl dot fmt dot local dot session. Okay, I get this attribute, which is the local. Okay. Now, of course, I can fix the input. I Command Shift I. Fix the input. Yes, I want this. So the input fixed. Then another string language at the beginning equal empty. Then if local not equal null, that means you do have a local. Then what I do, I say language equal string local dot get language. I get his language and cast down this as a string that I assign to the language. So now I do have this language in there. Okay, now we continue. Then I cut equal null. I destroy the session. Session is invalidated. Okay, after I destroy the session, I need to be able to keep the language, right? So if not language that is empty. Okay, if it's not empty, then user language will have been chosen, right? So we reset the language attribute. So I will request dot set attributes, and this language is this user choosing language. Okay. Otherwise, I don't need to do anything else. So basically, the logic here is very clear. So before you destroy the session, if the language has been set from the language target, then I first from the session get the attributes of this local data session. Then from the local data, from this local get the language out, extract the language. Now, if this extract this language out is not empty, that means it's not null, you do have one, then request the data set attributes language is this extracted out language. Okay. Now, if I run the project again, and suppose I do something, then in the middle I change it to English. So I changed, Then I begin to check out microphone, phone number, address, then credit card. Then I submit. You see, it keep as English. So everything is okay. Acknowledgement. This is the end of Unit 10. The next unit will be Unit 11, Securing the Application. Again, all materials in this presentation come from Netbeans.org. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.